Make changes and make them last a lifetime. Stay tuned. Damon here with NLP Gym, Trance. What's so important about it? If you haven't already, please click subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get these videos on a regular basis. Last night I was at a small party here in Santa Cruz, and it was for NLP people, and Robert Dilts was there and Steve Gilligan was there, which was wonderful to have both of them in the same place. And if you're not familiar with Robert Dilts is considered the first student of NLP. He's one of the early developers. He got into NLP like 1974, 1975 when he was a student at UCSC. He's written several books on leadership and, of course, NLP. And a lot of people think of him as, and you can argue with this if you want, but think of Bandler and Grinder as at the top of NLP, and Robert Dilts would be right underneath that. Not everyone agrees with that, but anyway, Robert's a big guy in the field of NLP. Steve Gilligan is perhaps one of the greatest hypnotherapists alive. He was involved with NLP, or the early days of NLP, before it was actually called NLP, and I think he moved away before it actually had the name NLP, but he worked with Bandler, he worked with Grinder. Him and Robert became friends at that time. And he spent a lot of time with Milton Erickson, who was he considers his main mentor. And Steve is amazing. He's the person who I trained with at Trance camp earlier this summer. Robert, I've started my formal NLP training with him and Judy Delosier at NLP University. Done most of my training probably with him. Been doing that for the past 4 years. So it was really nice to get together with them and others as well. And it occurred to me when I was talking to Robert Dilts last night, he was telling me how one of his great challenges every year, every summer when he holds NLP University, is to provide that supportive and comfortable environment for people who are coming from all walks of life, all different countries, and they're coming here to do some serious work on themselves and also to become better at whatever it is they do when they get back home, their careers, their personal life, whatever they're coming to the training for. And it occurred to me, and it was something that Steve Gilligan had really pointed to at his training, the importance of an altered state, the importance of trance or hypnotic states. That when you go to a hypnotic state and make changes there, that's the stuff of lasting change. Because we can do NLP processes, we can even do behavioral changes or behavioral challenges for ourselves, do something that we fear doing or something like that, and somehow that information kind of stays up here, or maybe it stays in the gut or something like that, but it doesn't last. The importance of going into trance is to do the work in an altered state, and then that's, for some reason, I'm not even sure why, Steve Gilligan has explanations for this, the changes are that much more powerful and they last longer, or more than likely for a lifetime. And it occurred to me while I was talking to Robert about this, that's why I've had so many transformations at their trainings, is because they sort of put everyone into a trance, and it's a trance of total acceptance, non-judgment, support, and kindness, and you're able to sort of relax into something different. And that's what hypnosis is really about. It's about relaxing into a state of trance where you can then do the work. And I went and talked to Steve about it, Steve Gilligan, and I mentioned, really what I learned at Trance camp, and really what I took away from Trance camp was the understanding of how important it is to go into trance and do the work there. And before I could even finish, he just smiled and he said, yeah, when you go into trance, you loosen up or even break up the quantum structures of the limitations you've been imposing on yourself. That is a profound understanding. And for a while, like when I first learned hypnosis, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's a good way to relax. It's like a form of meditation, more guided. And I did get a lot out of it, but it wasn't until Steve pointed that out, mainly in Trance camp, and then I kind of retroactively looked at all the trainings I had done, and especially the trainings where I got huge changes and transformations, and realized that was possible because I was in an altered state, a trance state. If you're not quite getting that understanding, let me put it another way. When you think of phobias, or you think of, and phobias last a long time. Phobias can last a lifetime. What happens when you get a phobia? Because, you know, a dog can bite many people. You know, people have that experience in their life. And majority of people will go the rest of their lives and never be afraid of dogs. They just had that one instance, one incident. Some people get bit by a dog, and for the rest of their lives, they're phobic of dogs. They see a dog and they freak out. Why do you think that happened? It's because when they got bit, for some reason, they went into an altered state. And in going into that altered state, it altered their programming and made a lasting change. Now, you can undo that as well. NLP has lots of resources for that, and hypnosis does as well too. But you can create lasting change like a phobia, but for something positive. And that's where trance comes in. That's the importance of trance. I also saw a documentary on Tony Robbins. It's a Netflix documentary, and it shows the Date with Destiny workshop from beginning to end. He's putting them, with the help of his co-trainers, he's putting everyone into an altered state. And a lot of times it has to do with jumping around, getting very physical. Even walking on fire will put you on the hot coals will put you in an altered state. He's putting them in an altered state, and his brand of altered state, so that these people do the changes in that state, and more than likely, more often than not, they can take those changes back to their everyday life, and they last. Doesn't work 100% of the time, but if you think of like Shamanic Journeys, you think of past religions, or their ceremonies, their rituals, this is all about altered states. This is all about going into trance, making a change in trance, and then bringing that change back. It's the same thing they were doing, Timothy Leary was doing with LSD. A lot of people, and even now, they're starting to experiment with therapy using different types of drugs. Why? Because if going into an altered state, you can work some things out that you can't. Like Steve was saying, with the same quantum structures. You have to change those quantum structures. You have to loosen them up. You have to break them up. And then new things can become possible. So I'm a new believer in the importance of trance, and I can look back on the workshops that I've taught, and those workshops where it seemed like everybody was getting this huge benefit and changes and transformation, and then some workshops where people were getting it more in the head. They liked the information, they liked the knowledge, they enjoyed it, but I kind of left it up to them to figure it out for themselves. And I've been to a lot of trainings like that as well. Knowing what I know now, I can implement this more and make trance and hypnosis more of a part of the workshop, so that not only do people learn it in their heads, they get those changes and they get those transformations. So if you're not getting the full understanding of this or the importance of this, it may be something you need to experiment more with. So I would recommend that you take some hypnosis courses, practice some hypnosis, go into trance. Meditation's the same thing. This is one of the reasons why you can have transformations just by sitting and meditating. You go to a relaxed state, you let go of all these pressures and all the things that are pulling on you and pushing on you, and then you relax enough, you go into an altered state, and sometimes it's just spontaneous. Sometimes it just happens. You experience a transformation, and there's no going back. You change, and it lasts for a lifetime, and it's a good thing. It's a positive thing. Again, we have them in the negative too. I'm a believer now that phobias happen because of altered states. A person goes into an altered state, and then it changes their programming. Instead of going phobic, use altered states for positive change and transformation. Check out our website, nlp-gym.com. Check out our Facebook page and follow us on Facebook so you can get real-time updates on practices that are coming up and trainings that are coming up. And of course, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Click like if you like this video, and feel free to leave a comment. Take care.